Trey Guitars is giving away this Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul to one of you. How to enter? Subscribe to Plain Trey Guitars on YouTube, and we'll give it away when we hit 50,000 subscribers. Hey, welcome back to Plain Trey Guitars. I'm John, and that's Zach, and this is Plain Trey Guitars, where we play it and trade it. Continuing our deep dive into brand new Les Pauls. We checked out the Gibson Les Paul Slash, and now we're checking out the Epiphone Les Paul Slash. I can't wait to do it. Price point of $9.99. You can find it on Zounds, link down below in the description. Also, remember to subscribe to Plain Trey Guitars. We are giving away our Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul when we hit 50K. Now, Zach, let's get to work. Let's flip the latches on this case and check out the Epiphone Slash Les Paul. I'm super excited to do this. On the cover here, Slash's artwork. On the case, it actually is not on the Gibson case, so that's kind of a bonus on this Epiphone hardshell case. Also, how often do you get a hardshell case with an Epiphone Les Paul? I think that's really cool. Let's flip it open and see what we're here to talk about. Oh yeah, Anaconda green, Slash signature, up here on the truss rod cover. We'll get it out of the case and take a closer look. Very cool, and a lot of high-end appointments on this guitar. Electronics, we'll talk about those. We'll get it on the bench and talk specs. And then of course we'll plug it in and play it. Out here on the bench we also have the case candy, so you're going to have a little bit more generic fare on the Epiphone case candy. 3 or 4 Epiphone stickers, Epiphone limited warranty, and then their little plug on the Gibson app. Another cool thing on both models is that they do include strap locks. Nice quick look at the case candy before we delve into the specs. First thing we'll do is a quick side-by-side visual comparison. Take a look. A few noticeable differences when we look at the Epiphone versus the Gibson. From top to bottom, you'll notice that the Epiphone inlay shape of the headstock is a little bit different. The screen is a little bit different. And then probably most notably, you're looking at Indian Laurel fretboard on the Epiphone and a slightly darker binding versus the rosewood on the Gibson. This Indian Laurel will go ahead and condition as well with some D'Addario hydrate. And then coming down though, they both have that beautifully flamed Anaconda burst green finish with the black burst around the edges. I think it looks great. Uncovered humbuckers, but make sure you check out our video on the Gibson at $29.99 because today we're talking specs on the $999 Epiphone version, which is right here and look, it's sweet. So poly finish on that guitar. That's another noticeable difference is that you'll have the nitrocellulose on Gibson, whereas you'll have the poly finish, which is basically the way most modern guitars are finished, but Gibson keeps it old school with the nitro, which will age a little bit differently and breathe over time compared to the more sealed poly on an Epiphone. But nothing inherently wrong with a poly finished guitar. There's plenty of guitars that are finished in poly. It's just one of those big differences worth pointing out. Artwork on the back of the headstock. Serial numbers stamped there for 2022. It says handcrafted in China, inspected. There's a quality control tag. Lighter back. So you see more wood grain, which actually, personally, I think seeing more of the wood grain compared to the Gibson is actually kind of a cool feature because the Gibson is just going to be dark. You don't really get hardly any of the wood grain compared to the Epiphone. So that's actually something that stands out to me as visually more appealing on the Epiphone, which is nice. Flipping it over, we'll take the strings off. We'll get a close look here at this Indian Laurel board, which really feels a lot like rosewood, or at least its build is supposed to feel a lot like rosewood. I think it's a cousin of rosewood. ABR1 bridge. Tailpiece, 3-way selector, 4 controls. CTS pots on this. We'll flip it over pretty soon and take a look at the upgraded electronics, which is a great touch for Epiphone. These have Epiphone branded Epiphone Deluxe tuners, which are like a Kluson style tuner, which I think look pretty cool on the guitar. But let's get these strings off. We'll take a deeper dive on some measurements. You know, another couple of differences, you'll notice that the frets on the Epiphone are not finished with the binding. So on a Gibson, you have fret nibs, a little plastic binding that comes up over the edges. The Epiphone are basically just rounded off there. So you'll want to feel for things like sharp frets. I don't feel any sharp frets whatsoever on this one. You can see that there's a little bit of roughness to the way they filed this nut, but I didn't experience any string slippage or anything like that. The board is definitely looking pretty dry, so a lot of the times when the guitars are shipping new now, the boards look pretty dry. Simple solution for that, we could just go ahead and throw a hydrate solution. I like D'Addario hydrate. So while we're looking at the electronics, I'll let this soak into the board. So I have the fretboard conditioning, and I'll take out the pickups and take a look. So you can see it says designed by Epiphone USA on the back. Down there in the pocket, you can get a look at that maple cap, mahogany body. Pickups themselves read 8.5 ohms on the bridge, 7.9 on the neck, 4.1 combined. So actually really comparable range to the Gibson Alnico 2 burst buckers that we featured when we looked at the Gibson Slash. Okay, so pretty cool. So we also have orange drop capacitors in here. We have CTS pots, so that is a big improvement over a lot of import guitars will have kind of no-name junk pots in there. The guitar feels really good in the hands. I would actually say that this neck feels slightly thicker than the Gibson, and actually that bears out. If we take a measurement, we are at 0.89 inches at the first and 0.99 inches at the 12th. So we're slightly thicker neck actually than the Gibson. Bear in mind that this is going to be a C-shaped but 50s profile neck, so a little bit thicker, fits in your hand, real comfortable. Not a baseball bat, but not a super skinny neck either. So just keep that in mind if you are shopping. Man, look at how that fretboard really came to life. I always love seeing that. Great looking guitar. 8 pounds, 12 ounces, so we'll call it 8.75 pounds, somewhere in there. And so it's actually just about exactly the same weight as the Gibson. So it's slightly thinner body, I guess it's a little denser wood. And the guitar weighs basically exactly the same as the Gibson. There's no weight relief on either of them. Comfortable guitar. So I gave you readings on the pickups. We looked at neck measurements. Last thing to do, start warming up. Get ready to play this thing. Good resonant guitar though, and good setup out of the box. I'm very happy with how it came. So let's fire up a track. First we're going to show some DI clean tones, and then we're going to let it rip and see how this thing sounds and how it compares to its big brother from Gibson. And you can choose, you can decide which one's right for you, and a link is down below. You can get this from Zounds, and they've really been taking care of us very nicely here on Plain Trade Guitars with these beautiful guitars to show you. So let's do it. All right, cool look at the Epiphone / Les Paul. Let Zach guess which one I actually like more. I'll tell you what, I actually feel a slightly thicker neck on this one. I know when they manufacture guitars, it's kind of within a tolerance. This one's slightly thicker than the Gibson. I actually prefer this neck, the C-shaped 50s profile on the Epiphone. I also think it's so eye-catching that you can see so much wood grain on this guitar. I actually prefer the finish. You cannot go wrong with either the Gibson or the Epiphone. There is absolutely nothing about either one of these guitars for me to not recommend them. Taking a look at these, honest look out of the box, you know, apart from maybe a few little cosmetic finishing flaws, there's not a thing that I can fault about the sound of this guitar. I'm having a blast watching it. Check out our Gibson / Les Paul standard video and then drop a comment and you decide which one are you gonna buy next. Now remember, when you go and buy it at Sounds, use our link down below. And thanks for supporting Play and Trade Guitars. I'm gonna have a little more fun ripping on this guitar, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for being here.